This is the Spike Weekly News with your host, Ben Murner. Hello everybody, and welcome to the first edition of the Spiked Weekly News. This is also the first Spike Weekly News Christmas special. It's December 26, 2017, and I'm your host, Ben Murner. All you really need to know about me is that I'm a nihilist. What that means is that I don't care about anything because there isn't a single thing to care about. Nothing matters. Not your life, not this universe, not this planet, not this website or this news show. And in that spirit, the Spiked Weekly News will be a very lazy and very subjective review of the events of the past week or so, whatever, with a special focus on what's going on with Spike Nation and people and their little posts and their little conversations where they talk about stuff like it matters. Like it matters. I'm not going to tell you why I'm doing this show other than to say that it was not by my choice. Let's put it that way. Which brings us to a really important segment of the show. It's probably the most important segment of every show, of every Spike Weekly News show, and that's the Silly Stalls segment. That's the name. I couldn't think of a better name, and I'm going to do this show like it doesn't matter, because it doesn't. It doesn't. So Silly Stalls is where we go through some of the really high-rated posts on the new post page. The rules are if something's got 8 votes or more and a rating of 4 or higher, that's a silly stall. And the goal is to bring those silly stalls to everyone's attention so that if they haven't seen that particular video, or they just feel happy, like if they feel like warm feelings towards other people and human beings and towards the kids who come to the front page to chew bubble gum and they just want to maybe put something new up there, they could go and they could rate it and it could maybe go to the front page. So that's the whole point of Silly Stalls. So let's go into our first segment. Silly Stalls. Silly Stalls. Alright, welcome to our first segment. It's called Silly Stalls. I've gone back a few weeks so that we could get our eyes on some choice candidates as Silly Stalls. Some posts that you might want to go and check out. And think about rating and maybe they can get onto the front page for the kids who come here to chew bubblegum. So first I'd like to point out, so a psycho just stabbed you. Now, a lot of us have fantasies about how we'd like to die. And my fantasy is to die because I was stabbed to death by a psycho while 2 police officers watched on the other side of a door. Now, if that's your fantasy too, or if you're just interested in this kind of thing, then I strongly suggest that you check out this video. I'm Not Racist was an excellent and challenging rap video that pits a stereotypical white man versus a stereotypical black man in a rap battle. And there's been many debates and arguments about the lyrics in the comments of the YouTube video. All in all, a great post that if you haven't checked it out, or if you did check it out and you didn't vote on it, well, fuck. Come on. Anyway, that's good. So next we go up Oh, yeah, there's one. This is a silly stall called Hey Yeah, Hey Yeah. So what's really great about this one is it's at 10 votes, it's got a solid 5, and it's a vintage YouTube video that's a cover of a vintage song. So it's like for all you art snobs who bask in the illusion that there's any kind of meaning to human expression, this could be a one for you to check out. The Darkest Hour trailer. Now I put trailers in kind of a different category. You know, it's like junk food, but it's got 9 votes, and it's pretty high score. Let's see what else we have for silly stalls in this edition of Spiked Weekly News. Uh, going up here, looking. Ooh, that one's close. Oh, drowning puppy given CPR. I gotta say, there's a few silly stalls on the new post page right now of extremely adorable animals doing adorable animal things. And those are always popular with the kids. And I would really like to encourage you to find those and to vote on them. There's this one, the drowning puppy. There's Captain Doggo Sheep Commander. Doggo Sheep Commander. That one's great. There's a thing where cats freak out over cucumbers. I mean, if you're trying to um, push away the darkness, you know, that awareness, that crushing awareness, that it's all for nothing and it doesn't matter. Cute animals are a great distraction, and what they do is that structure, the features, the structure of their features, it releases chemicals in our brain that make us feel warm feelings and stuff, and make us feel happy. And if you can suspend your disbelief, if you can suspend your disbelief that there's any meaning to the world, you can enjoy these. So check it out, The Drowning Puppy. Check out The Hardcore Mailman Doing Work. That's at, solid 5 with 9 votes. You should check that one out. I mean, these are silly stalls. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about silly stalls. Here's a great one, Mike Tyson. You Have to Go. It's poignant. It's emotional. It's great. It's got 8 votes. It's a solid 4. Okay, it's a silly stall. As we scroll up through the posts, I'd like to note that around last week, the U.S. government did acknowledge finally that they also think UFOs are weird. Finally, breaking silence on that after years of saying that they didn't think that there was anything weird at all. So that's a huge step, and that kind of set Skeptoid off on a tangent. He posted a lot about UFOs, and I think we're still recovering from that. Groth versus the FCC now, that's got 9 votes and about a 3.7. It's hovering there. It's hovering there in silly stall territory, and I think, you go to take a look and decide for yourself. Toddler caught in brawl. We always like to see something like that. That's 3.5 with an 8. I'll leave that up to you. I won't say that's a silly stall. I'll say that's a close one. Close silly stall. Now, as we move up through the various posts of the past week leading up to Christmas, we can see that there are not that many silly stalls visible. We're going to keep moving through here at a quick pace. Here's Laurier admits profs lied. Here, see what else we can find. If there's anything good that qualifies as a silly stall. I'm sorry if this segment's long, boys and girls, but this is an important service. I'm told it has meaning. Last Jedi gets raped in half is at 9 with a solid 4.5 to 4.8, somewhere in there. This one needs to go to the front page, boys and girls. We've got Norma on the LGBT community. It's a cringy interview with a nervous Huffington Post reporter, if you like that kind of thing. Possible silly stall. So we move up further through here. And oh, we've got file making, which is at 8. It's a solid 4, and that should be pushed over the edge. Got paint drying there. We've got, we're getting up close to the top. Oh, a Christmas tradition, shooting Santa with a pellet gun. That's going to go over. It don't need my help. That's a Christmas gift for Spike Nation. That's hitting the front page for the kids. So here's an additional silly stall I almost missed. Its little brother helped sister, and it's a good thing I caught it because I think everyone should go look at this one. It's at 10 votes. It's really got a solid 4.3, and it's an incredible illustration of how society's rules and norms break down in the face of familial bonds, which are themselves driven by mindless genetics bathed in chemical processes. None of it matters. And if you watch this video and you feel a sense of mirth, that's just because you bought into the illusion. You're a slave to chemicals. There's also Triumph at Star Wars opening. It's got 9 votes and solid 4.4 or something like that. I guess that brings us up to the top here. Back up to the top of Spike Nation. You can see it's Boxing Day. And people have been drinking. Which, I say is perfectly understandable. I'm here sipping some Baileys just to take the edge off the darkness. And, just waiting for the day when we all realize that the best thing for all of us to do is to stop having children and walk hand in hand into the sunset. Opt out of this cruel joke. Anyway, here's Skeptoid with some stupid special report. Alright, thanks, Ben. Cheer up, buddy. I've got a great story to tell everyone today. I recently had the opportunity to be put in touch with one of the best stellar canine trackers and guides this side of the Mississippi. Stellar canines, or sundogs as the kids like to call them, are an elusive phenomenon I've been tracking for many years now. And I was lucky enough to have one of the best guides in the business to show me exactly where I could find one. He led me to a secluded rural location in eastern Ontario, and just on schedule, there was our stellar canine.
Wow, it's like a full circle. The halo is like a full circle. It's really cool, and the way it lights up that cloud, not where the sun's hitting it, but where the halo's hitting it, that's really weird.
But our story doesn't end here, Ben. We took some still pictures of this amazing phenomenon, and when we got back to the studio, we took a closer look. Using advanced software, we were able to highlight an object in the sky that we couldn't explain. Using even more advanced software, we were able to enhance the image even further, and what we found may disturb some of our viewers. What we're looking at here is what is commonly known as a Nibiru. Now, what I've learned, Ben, is that Nibiru is jargon for lens flare. And we had a lot of fun at the studio watching this Nibiru lens flare dance around the sundog, almost mocking us with a playful joie de vivre. Now, I didn't know this, Ben, but there are a lot of YouTube channels that are dedicated to nothing more than collecting and admiring these incredible Nibiru lens flares.
That's the biggest sundog I think I've ever seen, if that's what that is. I think that's what these are called, sundogs. But look at the size of it. That's freaking awesome, man. Look at the size of that. I've never seen this before. I've seen videos on YouTube. heard people talk about the big halo with the sundogs, but I've never seen it. And it's pretty impressive. Nice. Nice work, Cosmos, plus atmosphere, plus whatever. Some boring guy on YouTube can probably explain what causes it. I'll go find that video.
No, Skeptoid. I'm supposed to find video clips that explain things. And they said if I let anybody else do it, that I wouldn't get any points towards a day pass. So here's some guy explaining what the thing is that Skeptoid thinks is so great.
There's a lot going on in the sky. A lot of folks just don't look up to check it on out. But going to meteorology school, we had to do that. I had a class where I had to look up at the sky all the time and talk about ice crystals and the different things that form in the sky. Well, this was a shot that was sent in to us, and it's a great shot here, sent in by Brian Rowland. Here you see the sun in the middle, and you see this circle. Now, many times we've seen a circle around the sun. That's the what we call the halo, a 22-degree halo, the angle from us to the sun, from the sun out to us to out here. That's 22-degree angle. There's also a 46-degree angle, a halo that can form as well. These are called sundogs or perihelia, or sometimes called mock suns. So they get really bright sometimes, and people say, how come there's two suns in the sky? So that's why they will call them mock suns. But what's interesting about this, those are fairly common optical phenomena, is this right here. This is called an upper tangent arc. And I can tell by looking at this photo, the sun's a little higher in the sky, of course, with the trees here. If it was down near down closer to the horizon here, this arc would be much more sharp right here. But as the sun goes up, this flattens out and lengthens like this. And it all has to do with the way that the sun is shining through ice crystals. These are hexagonal crystals. There's all kinds of things that could be in the sky. In fact, this photograph is pretty amazing. Here's one that was taken, and Noah put this one in and describes all of the different things that are going on. Here's the sun rising. Here's that tangent arc we were talking about, the upper tangent arc. You see it's a little sharper here because the sun is just coming up. So this is the upper tangent arc. Everything listed in red is rather rare. Everything we just saw in that last picture is not as rare, but there's all kinds of arcs. There's one right in here. You've got the superlateral arc, the Sundex Peri arc, which is right in here. All these different things that can occur, and it's all having to do with the way and the angle that the sun is shining through those hexagonal ice crystals, or the little columns that we call them there. And I don't think I can show you. Actually, we'll show it right in here. This is what the ice crystals look like. So if the sun shines through the end, we get this upper tangent arc right here. If it shines differently through it, we get all kinds of other arcs that we were looking at right here. So guys, there's lots of things that can happen in the sky. This picture's
That guy sounded pretty confident. I wanted to know more, so I went to Wikipedia because I want you guys to understand how things work, how mechanical, and everything's been figured out. It's all a big sham. God damn it. But when I went there, it says, even though it is one of the most common types of halo, the exact shape and orientation of the ice crystals responsible for the 22-degree halo are still the topic of debate. Hexagonal, randomly oriented columns are usually put forward as the most likely candidate. That's what that guy did. He put that forward. But this explanation presents problems, such as the fact that the aerodynamic properties of such crystals leads them to be oriented horizontally rather than randomly. And then it says, alternative explanations include the involvement of clusters of bullet-shaped ice columns. And then there's some references. And this way you can't believe in anything. Can't believe in anything. Maybe it'd be better to hear from somebody who doesn't look like they end every workday with an intense session of autoerotic asphyxiation. We need to hear from like a clueless sounding self-improvised expert. But before that, this is what it looks like when a flying penis shoots a sonic boom up a sundog's ass.
Grandpa called them sundogs. According to him, whenever you saw these colorful spots in the sky, the weather was about to change. I hope that's right this morning. Wind chills are 20 below zero with blowing snow. Not to take anything from an old farmer's version, there's interesting science behind these unusual atmospheric events. Technically, they're called halos. They're caused when sunlight hits ice crystals in the air. Ice crystals have 6 sides and act like prisms, breaking white light rays into the colors of the rainbow. When things are just right, vivid sundogs appear in the sky on one or both sides of the sun. Because of the way light refracts through the crystals, they always form on a prescribed arc that's 22 degrees wide around the sun. Sundogs can last from mere seconds to an hour or more. Sundogs usually form on ice crystals high in the stratosphere, often associated with cirrus clouds.
Does a 22-degree halo or any other kind of halo or sundogs predict bad weather, like the quote-unquote old-timers say? Well, I really lazily searched on Google and I found one article from this website called Live Science that suggests that it could be some correlation of halos for weather forecasting falls from the fact that cobwebby cirrostratus clouds usually precede a warm front and its accompanying precipitation. Your chance of accurately predicting precipitation depends chiefly on your location. The closer you are to normal storm tracks, the more likely a halo predicts rain. Well, that's not particularly scientific. But it does say that precipitation tends to develop more quickly with an associated halo that appears in winter as opposed to summer because weather systems tend to move with a greater speed across the country then. The precise size of the halo is due to the shape of the ice crystal. Light enters one side of the crystal and it's refracted because light travels more slowly through the ice than through air. Doodly doodly doddly dum. Nothing here really pinning a tail on that donkey, if you ask me. In fact, I haven't seen a single tail pinned on a single fucking donkey through this whole goddamn thing. This whole show's been fucking washed. God! I think that's probably good enough, for the news. I can't, there's nothing else to say. It's hard enough just to muster enough will to form sounds. But I guess the network used to be neutral. And now it's not neutral anymore. It's giving everybody freaking stomach ache. But other than that, there's nothing that people think is important to talk about. So I'm just going to call it. And we'll say that's the end of the first edition of the Spike Weekly News. Is that okay with you guys? Is this enough? Yeah? Okay. Alright, so where to now? What? Yeah. Do you really need the cuffs again? Come on, guys! How many times do I have to do this before I can have a day pass? God. God! Ah! If you want to be in the Spike Nation news, contact Skeptoid.